What's up, guys? Spin Firearms here, and today we're going to be talking about the Smith & Wesson M&P40C. Now, this was a very popular firearm on my channel this week, simply because I was making a lot of shorts about it, telling you guys stuff I liked about it, the size, the stainless steel slide, and so on. And then I also made a video talking about it being a law enforcement firearm. And I asked, did anyone ever carry this as a law enforcement agent, basically, or officer? And people said, oh, no, no cop would ever carry that piece of crap, or no cop would ever carry that big firearm. Or what? Guys, this is the same size as a Glock 27, and a lot of cops carried a Glock 27 and nowadays a Glock 26 for their backup firearm, or even past a certain rank, you are also allowed to carry a smaller subcompact. So I would consider this a subcompact. It's just a little longer than a Glock 27 by about that much, which that comparison video will be up soon, hopefully this week if it gets cleared. But anyways, I didn't want to bring a review to you, or a video to you guys about this, because people always get on me when I make a first impressions video. I like first impressions video because it's literally what I think about it when I'm first feeling it, first handling it. It's just my first thoughts. Like, is it ergonomic? How does it feel like it's built? Just stuff like that. Now, this was a law enforcement trade-in, right? You can find a lot of M&P40Cs at places like Bass Pro, law enforcement trade-ins, Bud's Gun Shop, law enforcement trade-ins. That's exactly what it is. They're switching back to 9mm, whether they're going to Glock or SIG or sticking with the M&P series. They're just getting away from that 40, and that's what's happening with law enforcement agencies for the last 10 years across the country. Now, I still like 40. I think 40 is one of the most fun rounds to shoot at the range, and on top of that, it is effective. I don't care what anyone says about the new technology with 9mm. Yes, the technology is unbelievable with 9mm, but 40 is a beast of a round, and I don't care. I like the snappiness. I like shooting it, and I carry my Glock 27 as well as this pretty often. Now, you can find these anywhere from like $250 to $320, and they're in excellent condition most of the time you find them because they were a backup firearm. They were not the main firearm that was used by these law enforcement officers. So they were rarely shot. The barrels are really well taken care of because very little rounds went through them. The internals all looked great. And so when I checked this firearm out, I was like, this is an unbelievable deal. And also, it fits exactly what I like in a firearm. I do like the thicker firearms. Now, this is bigger than a Glock 26 and Glock 27. It's thicker. But at the same time, it's about the size of a Canic subcompact. It's thick and a good firearm. Now, it does have the hinge trigger. But what I like about the size of this firearm, it's the same as a 26, a 27, a 33, a 28, a 39. It's also the same size as a Ruger SR9C and SR40C. It's the same size as your Ruger Security, just a little thicker. It falls into that category of firearm sizes that I really enjoy, the CZ P10S, right? It's all comparable in size. Now, this holds 10 plus 1 of 40, and you can get the flush fitting mag, but this is the pinky extension, and honestly, I just think it feels really good in the hand, very ergonomic. You still can't quite get 3 fingers on it, but it is a really nice feel to it. This back strap is awesome. It's very comfortable on your hand. It reminds me of the CSX. It's a different feel, but it's that little hump that fits in the swell of your palm that feels really, really good, really ergonomic. Now, no safeties on this, which I really like. It does come with a rail. And just a really nice finish. This stainless steel finish, considering this firearm is probably 15, 20 years old, it's really held up and looks really nice. Now, one thing I do need to change out are the sights. They didn't take care of the sights that well. As you can see, they're a little dark, this one especially. I tried cleaning it a little bit. I just have to get a different solution to mix up in there. But I do have some night sights for Smith & Wesson, so I'm actually just going to swap that out. Probably work on that today. But anyways, how does this thing shoot? Because that is the main thing. Is it reliable 15, 20 years later? Was it taken care of? So far, it's been 100% reliable. It's about 100 rounds, just 2 boxes of 40, and then 20 hollow points. And I shot gold dot, 180 grain through this. Everything ran flawlessly. Now, my very first magazine, if you would have looked at my face after shooting it, you would have saw exactly how I felt about shooting it. My jaw dropped, and I was like, this thing handles recoil like an absolute beast. This is a smoother shooter than a Glock 27. I would say the trigger isn't better, it's just different. They're just the Glock 27 trigger versus the M&P40C trigger they're just two different triggers. This is a hinge trigger that is a little heavier, but a little crisper, I guess, not as mushy. Whereas a Glock trigger, you never know what you're going to get because Glock triggers are sort of all over the place, let's just be honest. But to be honest, very comparable firearms, but this does handle recoil better. But at the same time, this is thicker, and that slide is much bigger and heavier. But that's not a bad thing, right? Unless you're looking for something super light to carry. This is going to be about the same weight as like a Glock 30 with the mag loaded, right? Or maybe a Glock 29 with the mag fully loaded. So it's not terrible. A lot of people carry those options, as those are all great options. But what I really liked about this thing overall is that recoil plus the ergonomics gave me that sense of this is a great self-defense firearm and I can really shoot this thing well. Being a used firearm, I'm always nervous about the barrels, and I'm also always nervous about how they've been taken care of, but this thing was in perfect condition. I mean, everything on the insides looked great, cleaned, taken care of. The one thing I don't like about this firearm is it has a magazine disconnect, which in my opinion makes zero sense at all, but this is an older firearm, and I know they were testing the waters a little bit. I don't like the magazine disconnect because therefore now you have to use snap caps for dry fire practice. And, I mean, that's not the biggest deal in the world. I have a bunch of snap caps, but who wants to go searching around the room for all those snap caps every time, you fire a round? But a great firearm choice. So if you like fat, chunky, thick firearms, which there's nothing wrong with that. I know everyone wants the slimmest option and stuff. I like the option I shoot the best. I do carry very small options for certain situations, but if I'm going to my main carry, if I'm going out, I don't mind having a thicker firearm that is shorter. Now, I ordered a new mag with the flush base plate, so that's going to make it like that. It's going to be a 2-finger grip, 1.5, just like a Glock 27, but still very shootable. For 40, I'm telling you guys, this thing handles recoil amazing. It sort of reminds me of the Springfield Armory XD Subcompact, but like a smaller slide, but like the weight is there, if that makes sense, you guys. Similar in weight to the XD Subcompact. But this thing just really handles the recoil, and I was very impressed by it. Obviously, I want to put some more rounds through it, but this thing is just an awesome find. And on top of that, guys, I have a surprise for you. I have the M&P40C coming, which is the equivalent to the Glock 26. That one I bought brand new, not used. That should be coming next week. That thing looks awesome, and you just don't hear people talk about it. People are forgetting these options. Like stuff like the Glock 28, I get when people say it doesn't make sense, right? Because it shoots so well in 9mm that why go down a step when the shootability is going to be basically the same? Because the Glock 26 is such a great shooter. But when it comes to firearms like these just get lost because of all the hype. Whereas stuff like this are like a gem. These firearms were built like tanks. This is like my Ruger SR9C. They just don't make their firearms like this anymore. You could tell this thing was made to just last, and that's awesome. With everything going on in the world and everything people are dealing with, this is just a great option to have. I don't care what people say about my everyday carry choices, guys. I stay away from the hype, and I go towards what fits my hand. I go towards what I like to shoot. If I have a firearm, like, here's the thing. My SIGs, I think SIGs are ugly as can be. Where I know a lot of people that say SIGs are beautiful. I think Glocks are awesome looking. I think this is awesome looking, where I know some people that say these are ugly. And that's fine. It's all about your taste. But when it comes down to it, I really get into my everyday carry choices when I really like shooting them. I love shooting my Hellcat. I love shooting my Glock 27. I love shooting this. I love shooting my Glock 26. I actually love to shoot my Diamondback DB9 Gen 4. Is it a little rough to shoot? Yes, but that's what makes it fun. Like, I actually enjoy handling recoil and learning to fight the recoil and get fast follow-up shots. I really enjoy that aspect of shooting. I'm not always looking for like the easy way out type thing. I'm not saying that like getting a 380 is the easy way out, but when 9mm is such a smooth shooter, I really enjoy shooting these larger calibers and just learning them. And then when I go back down to my 9, it's like shooting nothing. It's unbelievable. But these 380 options that are coming out, I get why people go after them. They're small, they're short, but stuff like the Glock 28 being the same size as this, I don't know. Take it for what you will. But I love this thing. M&P40C, even being an older firearm, it's still a gem. There's still great options out there that just sort of trickle away because of all these other options out there, and I get it. I get that there's hype, I get that there's marketing, I get that there's technology, but when it comes down to it, a reliable firearm is a reliable firearm, and what you really enjoy shooting is going to be your best firearm to defend your family and yourself. Look at everything going on in our country right now. If you are carrying a 10mm, I don't care. If you train with that, if you put in the work with it, if you really like perfect your craft, and you in your mind saying, I carry a 10mm, that is my best opportunity to get my family home safe, then I'm all for it. But all I ask is that when I do stuff like this, you guys have an open mind towards these firearms. At least go shoot them. Go test them before you say anything. I always have people making comments about my everyday carry choices saying, oh, those are outdated, those are old, you need this, you need that. If I like it, I like it. If I'm going to train with it, that's all that matters. So Don't be ashamed in your everyday carry. Don't let people put you down. If this was the only firearm I have, I always say this, if this was the only firearm I had, I would be just fine, guys. Anyways, thanks for watching.